Hello everyone, my name is Emmy. Welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I thought I would share with you how I make my simple Bible covers. So just to show you how many times I made this particular style. So this is what I'm talking about. And just to give you guys a warning, if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, this video is probably not for you because all the covers I've made are made with leather. And the only reason I'm using leather is because I have a friend who works in a leather warehouse, and she was able to give me a lot of their remnants and all the extra rolls that they had when they decided to close that particular warehouse. And that's why I have all this. Luckily, you know, she was kind enough to give them to me at no cost. So that's why. So yeah, so like I said, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the Bible covers I'll be making. So this is actually the Liturgy of the Hours. And in terms of the Bible, wait, this is not a Bible, but as you guys can see, I make them as well for just regular books that I want to protect. Like this one is the Prayer in the Catholic Tradition book, and this one is the let me see, the introduction, Catholic Introduction to the Bible, the commentary. And this one is actually a Bible, and this is the note-taking edition. So yeah, I actually recorded myself making the cover for this one here. This is the last one I made, and I just want to warn you, that video, unfortunately, there was some parts that I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. And of course, every time I try to do these things, it's always when I'm recording that everything goes wrong. So which is, I thought actually it's still a good idea to show you guys, because this method I'm going to show you, it's very trial and error. And just to let you guys know, for someone who usually does this kind of covers, you would make a pattern first, like a paper pattern, before transferring it onto the actual leather, so you're not wasting any leather, and it's very precise. Everything is measured perfectly, but that's not how I do mine. So this kind of covers, like I said, like I said in the title, they're very quick and easy, and you will even see me correcting a mistake. And for leather, that's a big no-no, but because this is not something I sell, yeah, so I'm not really too conscientious, I guess, when I make this covers. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to show you guys the video, and I'll just do a voiceover and talk you guys through what I'm doing. Alrighty. Okay, so here we are. Right now I'm just trying to figure out which leather to use for this Bible, and so I ended up picking another one right here. But before I go on, I do want to say thank you to Tanya for this video idea. She put on the comment in one of the recent videos if I can show how to make this Bible covers. So yeah, thank you so much. I love getting this request, just because it's easier for me to do a video when someone actually asks for it. So at least I know there's one person who will watch it. So thank you. So now here we are. So I flipped the leather so that it's on the wrong side, and now I'll be tracing the actual Bible into the leather just using a regular sewing chalk. If you have leather materials, you can also obviously use an actual leather score, they call it. So, but with me, I like using the chalk because it's pretty much easy to erase afterwards. So yeah, I'm just like I said, tracing the actual shape of the leather, and I'll be opening it up just so that I get a pretty accurate measurement, hopefully. And then what I'll be adding, sorry, oh my gosh. So what I'll be doing later on is adding inches around it, and I'll be talking about that too. And here I'm just showing you what it looks like on the actual leather. And then now what I'll be doing is cutting the leather. So what I'm doing is on the sides of the edges, I'll be adding about 3 inches as a flap. So that's what I'm doing now, just measuring it out and see if I have enough space on the actual leather itself. Most of the time, it's actually better to have about like a bigger, like maybe 4, 5, 6, even 6 inches, depending on the size of your Bible. Because the larger the flap is, I find, like the more secure it is. Although it is harder to put in the Bible if the flap is really big. But 3 inches, that's leaning more on the shorter side, but because of the size of the leather, that's what I ended up doing on both sides. So basically, you're adding 6 inches total to the vertical part, and then on the horizontal, which is like the edge of the bottom of the Bibles, I guess, and the top, I think I'm adding about an inch here. And you don't really need an inch, but I just do that for in case I make a mistake when I do seaming later. It'll all make sense, I guess, when I show it, because obviously the trim of the Bible at the edge, you can always just cut it out at the end, even after sewing everything. So yeah, so I'm just using a T-square here and a box cutter or craft knife. And at this point, I think, let me see here. Yeah, so the box cutter, the actual blade is, because I forgot to change it. I've been using it a lot. So it took a while to actually cut the leather. So I think I'll show it here as well later on how I end up changing the blade, just flipping to the other side basically. Okay, I'm gonna shush now. Okay, and this is just me now changing the blade, because then I just realized that the blade was pretty dull. So yeah. And this is just me, I think I'm close to the cutting of the final cover here before sewing. So yeah, just trimming all the edges and stuff like that. Yeah, so you guys will see at the bottom and even a bit of the top part, it's really wide, which you don't really need all that much. So I think I will end up marking it now just to figure out, I guess, where the sewing would take place for the actual flap, and then that rest I'll be cutting out later. And here I'm cutting off the excess on the top and bottom part. So actually, no, I just cut off the top, I think. Yeah, only one one side. And then now just finalizing, I guess, again, the flap, like where everything would fall, I guess. And as you guys can see, even though I marked it, because it's I'm marking it with the chalk, so it's pretty easy to remark it in a way, so that's why I really like doing the chalk for using chalk for marking. Now the sewing machine is out. I'm just showing you what color of thread I'm using. This is just a regular cotton thread, I believe, and that's the bobbin with the matching thread color. And now, yeah, I'm using a leather needle for the sewing part. That's actually really necessary if you just have a regular sewing machine, to use a leather needle. And now here I am just putting everything together, like trying to thread the needle, which for some reason I had a hard time doing. It's happening, of course, because I'm recording. So that's when all the errors happen. I find, and I was wearing my glasses here too. So anyways, moving on. Here I am just trying to sew now. I don't know if you guys could see the line over there. It's just slightly on top of that pink seam line. Just so that the actual flap is not too tight. But I think what ends up happening later on, as you guys will see, I ended up sewing it too far off from the actual line, so it ended up being loose, so I had to redo that. But you guys will see here. And right now, yeah, so just starting to sew here, starting off with a back stitch, just maybe half an inch off the actual flap before it begins. So I back stitch and then sew on until the end of the flap, also back stitching. Yeah, so this one, I think I was having a hard time with the tension here, so I ended up having to start and stop just to figure it out. The best thing to do, obviously the most logical thing to do, would be to do a test first on a scrap leather, but I didn't do that. All right. So I think this is the part where I actually thought I was recording something, but I wasn't. So here I've already sewn, I think, one side, both the upper and lower part of the flap. Yeah, so now I'm going to the other side. Sorry, yeah. But I guess, you know what, it saved you guys from watching all the other all the other mistakes I made. But anyways, yeah, so now I'm going to the other side here now, marking it off. And I think that is about it for now. Yeah, so it's the same thing that I did for the other side, just doing it on the other side now. And I think this is actually the flap that ended up being too loose, I think. I can't remember now, but I guess we'll see later on. And also for sewing leather, it's best to actually use clips. Like if you have quilting clips, you can use that to hold the actual leather together while you're sewing. I didn't do that here because I'm lazy. That's my only excuse, really. So I think I had those just regular paper clips that I could have used here, which would have made my life easier, but I didn't do that. So. And now here I'm testing out the cover and see how it fits. And here you guys will see. I'll be showing here, I think, how loose it is. So yeah, so one side is good and the other one is not. Yeah. So that's what I will be correcting. Here I am ripping it up with a seam ripper. So yeah, another thing that you guys can do as well is to actually just do that bottom line, the bottom seam for both the left and right flap in one straight line. But again, because I'm lazy, I ended up just doing it like one side first and then the other side next. So that's why I ended up back stitching on those edges. But yeah, like I said, you can do it at one straight line. It would also look aesthetically better. Later on, I'll show you samples of Bible covers. I think it's a Bible cover or book cover that I've done where it's actually just a nice straight line straight across the spine. So, but I didn't do that here because this is like I said, this is a quick and easy method that I usually do now. Like nowadays, you know, it's very quick. Once you get the hang of it, it takes about 30 minutes or less. But here, because I've been making so many mistakes, it actually did take a bit longer. But yeah, if you're very careful from the beginning, you won't be making these mistakes that I did, and it'll be super quick. And now I'm just cutting off like the excess thread basically and cleaning it up. And then the next part after this, so this, yeah, thank you if you made it this far. We're almost close to the end, guys. So yeah, so like I said, and then the next part, I'll just be trimming the edge, like the bottom more, the bottom of the leather cover. Here it is, the final product. Yay. Okay, so here we are. As you guys saw, very, very imperfect, right? Okay. So even here, there's still like, it's not flush to the cover. So it's still a bit loose, but yeah, I'm not gonna bother correcting that unless it gets really loose over the years. And then what I will probably do is just do another seam right here, just to make it a bit tighter. But yeah, as you guys can see, very quick and simple. If you guys have more time, obviously you can do it much better. Like this is one of the first few ones I made for a Bible cover, or not Bible, this is actually just a commentary. But yeah, so this one too is another one when I was more anal about this thing. So I will show you what I ended up doing here. So instead of stopping the seam right here at the flap and back stitching, I ended up doing a one continuous line throughout the top. I believe, no, that's not the one. Oh, is it this one? Yeah, so sorry. So this one is It's just a regular book. This is War and Peace, I believe. Yeah. So I made a cover for this one, and as you guys will see, I also made a mistake right there. And I don't know if you can see the original line, but because aesthetically, even though that is not a good thing, I wanted to do this as one continuous line, so I ended up doing it even on the spine, continuing on to here. So that's another thing that you can do, and it makes, I don't know if it's more stable honestly, but this one, because I made it more carefully, so it's really flush to the cover. And did I, yeah, I don't think, yeah, because it's one continuous line, I don't think I backstitched at this part, but like I said, these are just basically the quick and easy method. That's what I've been doing lately with this style. I just stop at the flap, backstitch instead of doing the continuous line. And another variation of that is this one here. Let me just show you. So this one is technically a cover that can go to I can use for other books that's about the same size but just a different thickness. So what I ended up doing is, instead of doing a full flap here, I did it like this style with just that, so I can adjust it. But the other one is the same as before, and I will attach a tutorial for this because this was not my idea. I actually just kinda followed a tutorial that I saw, but for a fabric book cover, but I just kind of adapted it to the leather, which is easier, right? For leather, you don't have to finish the seams or anything like that. You don't have to worry about lining or anything. So that's why I actually really like using leather, aside from the longevity, right? And another one that I've made, but this one is a one-off, is this one here. And this is the one, if you've seen my other videos. Oh my gosh, let me just see. Okay. So this one is for the Great Adventure Bible, and this one is actually made of fabric. And this one is actually made of two fabric based. So okay, I'm just gonna, I don't know how to explain it, but if you're into hand sewing, I don't know if you've probably heard of Alabama Chanin, and this is one of her books, Natalie Chanin's book, Alabama Stitch book. And this is where I actually got the pattern, but you know, you just adapt it to your size of the Bible. This is called the Reverse Appliqué book cover from this book. So reverse applique involves actually more work because you use two fabric, you stencil the first layer, and then you so this is completely hand sewn, so that's why it also takes a while. And aside from waiting for the stencil to dry, and then yeah, so the hand sewing is the one that takes the most work, but otherwise I guess it's also kind of done like the leather. So yeah, like I said, it's two layers, right? So with reverse applique, I'll show you guys something else actually. Hang on. Okay, so you guys have a better idea when I talk about reverse applique for this, just in case you're interested in doing this book cover. So reverse applique, this is a skirt I made using that method, and as you guys can see, so the underneath layer, that's the backing, and then the top layer you stencil, and then depending on the style that you choose, you hand stitch and then cut out the middle. So that's the actual design, and this is also completely hand sewn, the skirt that I made. So that's what this is. So the first layer, right? So yeah, so and I also can't show that really because it's not my pattern, right? But I just thought, in case you guys are wondering where I got that from, and that's from this Alabama Chanin book. And that is it, I think. Oh, also wait, for the book cover as well, if you don't have a sewing machine, this is one I hand stitched. I just wanted to try it, I think. So this is using, so this one also I kind of made a mistake because I made the flap too small for this one. So I ended up just adding this strap, but this one I just sewed by machine. But this part here I hand sewed. And if you prefer that method, if you don't want to buy a sewing machine and want to do this, all you need is a linen thread like this, or a wax thread and harness needles. and you do a saddle stitch. A saddle stitch is, I'm not going to show that here, but you can find a lot of tutorials on YouTube for how to do a saddle stitch. But yeah, so in case you're wondering if you can do it without a sewing machine, yes, you definitely can. And let me see. Another thing that you would need though, if you're going to hand sew, is like this hole punch. These are leather lacing hole punches. Hole punches? Am I saying that right? Yeah. Anyways, that's it. All right, I think that's it. Thank you again to Tanya for suggesting this video. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it when you guys take the time to comment and even ask if I can do a certain video, because honestly, I prefer doing this kind of videos just because I know at least someone, like one person, will watch it. So on that note, thank you. God bless wherever you are. Bye.